everyone, my name is Ekaterina Solomina. I'm the co-founder of Future London Academy. I'm here with my Future London Academy crew that you can't see, but Emma and Callum are here. They're waving at us right now. I'm here with Alison Bracegirdle, Creative Director at We Are Social. Hello Alison, welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
So today we are going to talk about lots of creative things and especially related to social media. So let's start with actually explaining to our viewers what is We Are Social, what do you do here?
All right, so we are an advertising agency that specializes in socially led creative. And it's this year we're turning 10, so we have always been about social media. We've kind of entered the game as social was really gaining traction, and at this point we have a lot of experience doing all kinds of things that are very audience focused, and always bearing in mind how we can use the platforms to the best of their limits and capabilities and how we can stretch those opportunities.
You came from a completely different background. You were a journalist. Maybe you can recommend something to the guys who are currently doing journalism or not so much on the creative visual side and they want to move to a broader spectrum of things.
I think one thing that gets recommended a lot in film school, and I have not been to film school, is to write a story with no words. And so you create a film but it's a whole story, and sometimes you do ads like this where there are no words. It's very important to understand that most people, especially whether it's social or otherwise, they should be able to understand a story without any words. And so there's challenges there to just have a think about the world of storytelling just in visuals and just in body language and actions, and to know that that's where a lot of it begins. And then you add dialogue later, you add acting and other things that complement that. But the basic parts of storytelling come from how you can tell stories without words.
That is a fantastic advice. I feel like it's a challenge that I want to take on now, create something without words. And you recently launched an incredible campaign for HSBC. What was the process behind it? And tell us more.
So what we did was we started out knowing that we wanted her to congratulate people on their A-levels, and we purposely made it look like this is something she could have filmed and then just shared it as well. And from there, we made sure that when we were on set, we actually filmed a whole music video in vertical, which for everyone out there who does filming in vertical is very challenging, and it's something that a lot of people are asking for now. So,
and you were filming with professional cameras, but vertically?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we twisted everything around. For us, we really wanted to make sure that we had the security of getting everything in that really narrow and tall frame. But then we also just needed to build everything around her movements. And of course, she's dancing, so we kind of have to position everything far enough to get what we need. But it worked out really well because conveniently, for her and the students starring in the video, they're dancing, they're talking, they're walking, so vertical is great when you have people who are dancing and talking and walking. And that's the way it's basically it's perfect for. It's perfect for fashion as well. You can just tell people are kind of in their outfits, and it's great. So vertical's not going anywhere.
Do you think Snapchat will continue its growth and popularity, so people should invest their time in Snapchat?
Well, I think the first question is actually, is Snapchat right for the brand? Is Snapchat right for you? Because there's a lot of brands out there that it just completely does not apply. I was just looking at the stats last night about who's using Snapchat in the UK, and that 18 to 25 bracket is, I think it's close to 37%. You'll have to double check these for me. That's the highest usage right there, and then it kind of trails off towards 35, and they don't really track the numbers after that. So you can really see that this is not for brands that are reaching out to some of the older audiences. That's the kind of brand that should consider Snapchat, because we've done here at We Are Social, we did some lenses last year for Charlie XCX, and it was Samsung, and basically she had a bit of a music video, and we had a lens that she created with the song on the day of these festivals, and it was like the best used lens of last year during that time.
Well done.
So the thing is, it's appropriate for the right kind of brand and audience and everything else. And you can do a lot of things with Snapchat. So I would say if the brand is young and they want to play around, they want to make lenses, they want to allow people to bend their brand, then look into it.
A lot of people are saying that there is too much hype about influencers. What's your advice on influencers? What's your opinion on the whole subject?
Yes, of course, you're going to have people who aren't going to deliver what you're looking for. I would say that the ones who are going to not just go above and beyond is kind of looking towards the direction of artists. So when we do artist collaborations, you are going to someone because they have a skill and a talent and a personality and a style that you want to be part of. And when you work with influencers who aren't just people who are going to promote a product and walk away and do that for 20 other products, what you want is someone who has their own style, their own personality, and the brand values and their style match up with that person. So I would think a little bit more about the people you work with being creators in their own right, real creatives. Because if they don't have their own creative thing going on, they're not going to be able to give you the kind of audience recommendations that you need.
How do you see where the whole branding is going?
What I think is happening right now is we have a situation where it used to be the case that you could just tell everyone what your brand was and deliver that message and walk away and expect everyone to believe it and just accept it. That is so not the case right now. What's happening is a lot of brands, whether they like it or not, are co-creating. Their brand is almost half being determined and contextualized by culture, by people who use it, by people who are guardians of it. That means that influencers are playing a massive role in how brands are being, maybe even the first time you hear about a brand could be from an influencer. So very often people aren't hearing about brands from television. Of course, there's some stat about people, 67% of the UK are not watching TV anymore. You're going to need to check that, but it's just that that's not the first place people are getting their information anymore. So that means where are they getting it? They're getting it from social media, they're getting it from things that their friends are passing around. Basically, the word of mouth and cultural references are where everything is being almost like first digested. So what I'm going to talk about has a lot to do with how brands are lending themselves. The more progressive brands, the ones that are really excelling in culture right now, whether it be Gucci or Lacoste or even KFC from last week, they are being flexible with their brand. The brands that are refusing to let anyone have any say in what their brand is are going to have trouble in the future. So the brands that are willing to make those kinds of having conversations with people, allowing their brand to be almost toyed with, played around, that's the kind of brand that's going to succeed a little bit more in the future.
Last question to kind of advise the guys who are watching us there and want to be more successful in social media, whether for their clients or for themselves. They're trying to build a presence, they're trying to create interesting content. What advice would you give them? How can they be better at social media, what they're doing?
Okay, less is more. That is super important. So when everyone got into social media a few years ago, it was a game of how can I post something every day? And some people are still doing that. Some brands are still doing that. But the thing is, there is so much that has changed in the last few years, from Facebook's rules for like basically making it a lot harder for brands to surface what they want to do every day. And people just won't see it that often, but also people get bored. You can suffocate the internet and the audiences with way too much stuff. And I don't care what any brand is doing, if you're doing it every day, there's a very high chance that the quality is low. So what you need to do is come up with a very clear and value-driven editorial calendar, get your content kind of planned out, work it in advance, and then release less and do higher quality. Spend more time on it, shoot it properly, have a concept. You know, there's nothing to say that the Facebook post, the social media post can't be the new print ad. It can be that clever. You just have to put the time in and do it less.
Fantastic. I love this advice. Thank you so much, Alison. It was such a pleasure talking to you. Guys, Alison will be one of our speakers during Future of Branding Week in June. So everyone who's coming will meet her in person and ask all the questions about social media. Thanks a lot for your time. And thanks, guys, for watching.
Bye.
Bye.